Hey, gang, today we're going to be looking at a chapter from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, the This Is Your Life, the Origins uh, chapter. Now, this gives you, it's totally optional, of course, but I think it's kind of interesting in that it gives you some tables you can roll on for your family background. And I thought this was interesting because, nobody controls their parents, where they're born, whether you're rich, poor, in one country or another, it's just, you know what I mean? It's all up to fate. So, what I'm going to do, I think, with my Out of the Abyss game is just roll some backgrounds for each of the characters here randomly. If you want to use this rolled background, you can. If you want to roll your own background, you can. Or if you want to make up your own background or your parental background, you can. But I think it would be cool to have it be random. We're going to do this in roll 20. And I have five characters. So let's see. I'm just going to roll for everything. Let's see which one I'm going to do first. I'm not even going to do more. Let's see. We'll roll a 10-sided die to see who's first. Okay, it looks like Sekis is first. Okay, so we'll roll his background first. So first we're rolling on the parents table. This is if you knew your parents. Okay, so you did not know your parents. Wow, that's and already that's like huge, right? You didn't know who your parents were. That's pretty amazing. And then this is where this is your birthplace. Okay. Um, so you were born in the home of a healer or a midwife. Okay, that's interesting, right? It, you see why I like this table. It's like it's already telling a story before um, you know uh, you've even gotten anywhere. So number of siblings. What that means you have no siblings, so you're an only child. Okay, so I just want to show you that. Uh, I rolled a one, so two or lower is no siblings. Okay, so you're an only child. All right, so only child, and then um, let's see. Then this gets into sort of your family structure, uh, and we'll roll on this table. Uh, so wait a minute. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. So you're or actually it could actually. So you were raised by another single mother, um, that was not your mom. That's interesting, right? Or a stepmother, right? Or that's really cool actually. I like that a lot. And then so your parents, because you have absent parents, we're gonna roll to see what happened. Um, this is kind of weird actually, right? Uh, let's see here. Absent parent. Okay. All right. So one of your parents just disappeared. Wow. Okay. Uh, let's see what happened to the other one. Jeez Louise. Um, and then the other one abandoned you? So something serious happened. Clearly, right? In your background. Okay. And we'll go family lifestyle. This is if you were, this is if you were rich or poor or whatever. Um, okay, so you had a modest lifestyle. And this is sort of like uh, your childhood home where you kind of grew up. Wow. Okay, so you're fairly from a poor background. Says, scrolling down here, childhood home. Uh, it was a rundown shack. Okay, so that's rough. All right, so you grew up on that's a rough background right there. Now the last roll, the childhood home, uh, because you rolled modest, you probably grew up in, okay, so probably the place wasn't Mocha. Maybe your single mother wasn't a fix it person, but you guys had means because you had, it says modest, right? Modest is like kind of like middle class. And then the last roll, uh, let's see here. Plus charisma modifier. So this is childhood memories. I'm not sure why your charisma modifier would play into this, but we'll see. We're adding 3 to this roll. Uh, okay. So 14 plus 3, and that's a 17. And so 17, and I'll just show you here. I'm going to put this in chat here. For childhood memories is I always found it easy to make friends. I loved being around people. So you're really good with people. That's cool, right? So you probably learn to adapt around strangers. That's a very interesting background. That's just my opinion. Okay, so let's move on. I'm gonna do. Let's see who's next. All right. D4 uh, for the remaining people. 1, 2, 3. Tadwin. Okay, so Tadwin's next. All right. All right. So I can talk better than I spell. All right. So Tadwin. Let's just see here. All right. Did you know your parents? Okay, you knew your parents. Um, who are or were? Okay, interesting. And then this is the location we were born. 4, which is at home. Okay, so you were born at home. That's your birthplace. And then the number of siblings. Let's see here. This doesn't. Okay, 3. So you have 1 to 3 siblings. That's what that means. So I'm gonna roll a d3. Let's see, roll 3. So you have 2 siblings. That's cool, right? All right. So you have 2 siblings. All right. So you were older and younger, which means you had 1 on either side. So you're the middle child. Sorry, middle child. All right. So you're the middle child of three, probably dwarves, right? All right. So you're the middle child. That could be interesting in dwarven family, being the middle child. And then your family. Let's see here. So you knew your parents. Family, it says, okay, so you had a mother and father. Um, and then it looks like they were both alive, or currently are, and your lifestyle was 10. Okay. What is these lifestyle choices? End up rolling a 10. So that's modest as well. So modest, and then your childhood home was 36, which from the table is an encampment or village in the wilderness. Okay. Interesting stuff. A little different. Uh, it seems like very dwarven. You know what I mean? Uh, it's like very a lot more simple than Sekis, right? And then for your childhood memories, we'll roll this and subtract 1. All right, so that's a 12. So um, this is what that is. It says, I had a few close friends and lived an ordinary childhood. Okay, so you had a pretty basic childhood. Okay, enough said about that. Let's move on. Who's going to be next? Let's roll. We got 3 left. So number 4, Elon Nick. All right, let's go with Elon Nick. Now, Elon Nick is a wood elf. Sek is a Aluskan human. And, all right, so wood elf. So let's see, she's a Several Stars Druid. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if she knows her parents. What else? What else? What else? Okay. All right. Parents table. Okay, let's look. Okay, you know who your parents are. Cool. Your birthplace. You were born in a field. That's interesting. Okay. So you're probably, well, I mean, you're, what else? Maybe your parents were farmers or you were born on a farm. I don't know. Siblings. Okay, so you're an only child. A lot of only children in this party. Okay. So no birth order there. So family unit was a single mother or stepmother. Okay, so you know your parents were, but maybe your parents are no longer together. Um, in that case, let's see what happened to your absent parent. Absent parent was. Ooh, okay. So your father died. Um, so that's why your mom's single. Wow, that's interesting. So cause of death. Oh, here we go. Cause of death. All right. All right. So your father was a bizarre event, so just being hit by a meteorite, struck down by an angry god, or killed by some outer planar being like a slot. Okay, some monster killed your dad. That's kind of weird. All right, so your mom's alive, your father was killed, and then the only thing left is lifestyle. So your lifestyle was modest, a lot of modest lifestyles here. And then your childhood home was 35, which is an encampment or village in the wilderness. So it's probably like an elven encampment or village. That makes sense for a wood elf. And then childhood memories. So we'll roll and one from this. So 10. So 10. All right. That's pretty standard. So you had 10 is I had a few close friends and lived an ordinary childhood. Okay. All right. Other than that crazy event with your dad. All right. So that's Elon. Uh, next, last. Let's see who's next. One, two, or three. Aladar. Aladar. Okay. All right. So Aladar is next. Let's see. So Aladar is a Shatter Kai elf. Um, so let's see. I'm curious how this is going to turn out. Parents. Okay, so he knew his parents. Um, let's see. Birthplace. Okay, you were born at home. Siblings. Big family. Okay. So I'm gonna roll to see how many family members how many siblings you have. So you have four, and it's plus three to that. So is that already added in? Yes. Oh, I rolled a one. All right, so you have four other siblings, right? Um, and I guess let's see. Let's just roll for what order you are. We're in the you born first, second, third, or four. So you have four other siblings. So um, you know, five total. So we'll say you were born third. So you're third. You're the middle child also of five. Middle child of five. Okay, interesting. And then let's see here. Da, 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 da. Your family structure was you also had a single mother. Wow, a lot of single moms in here today. That is crazy. All right, so your absent parent. Let's find out what happened to your father. Um, you your father disappeared. That is just disturbing, right? I mean, you don't even know. Um, and then so you have five kids, and then your father just disappeared. That's bizarre. I mean, anyway. So family lifestyle. This is like wealth. Um, okay, rapport. Uh, wow. Okay, so that's rough. And then these a lot of interesting dad stories with these roles, right? So your childhood home, 58, which is you had a small house. Okay, so you grew up in a small house, and then now I believe Aladar is a warlock, because he's probably got a pretty high charisma here. So let's see what kind of childhood memories he has. Okay, so 17 charisma, so we're going to add 3 to this roll. So 10. Okay, that's still average. All right, so I had a few close friends and lived an ordinary childhood. Okay. And not but at least we will do Mr. Varick. All right. Let's see how this is going to turn out. All right. So first, parents. Let's see how this turns out. Okay. You knew your parents. Cool. All right. All right. Um, you were born in the Shadowfell. Wow. This is interesting already. Wow. So maybe you knew Aladar. Maybe somehow you guys were connected somehow. Because he's Shadow Kai and Shadow Kai are from the Shadowfell. So that's cool. Um, let's see what's next. Hmm. Okay. Maybe a big family? Three other siblings? Okay, so there were four in your family. Let's see what order you were born in. Let's do this. You were the oldest of four. All right, cool. Cool. You were the oldest child. A lot of younger siblings. Okay. Um, that's cool. Interesting. Alright. Wow. Okay. So next, I believe, let's see. Uh, but you were raised by your paternal and maternal grandparents. Okay, so something happened to your parents. You knew your parents, but something happened to them. Let's see what that was, why they weren't around. Uh, why were you raised by your grandparents? Okay, so one of your parents was imprisoned, enslaved, or otherwise taken away. So one of your parents was just taken. Wow. Okay, so let's see what happened to the other one. Moving right along. Wow. Wow. So the other one was too. Oh my gosh. All right, so you were born on the Shadowfell. Uh, you knew your parents, but they were taken away. You were raised by your grandparents. Wow, this is very interesting. Maybe they were taken by the drow? Maybe? I don't know. Uh, wow. So it looks like five is kind of a low roll, so you're probably very poor. Um, let's see here. It looks like on this table it says, yeah, it says squalid. So you were from a, okay. And then your childhood home. Let's see what that looks like. Um, all right. So you had no permanent residence. You had a squalid lifestyle, so you didn't have a lot of money, and you moved around a lot. Wow. So your siblings and you moved around a lot. Maybe you were fleeing from these people that took your parents, and you found your grandparents or something. That is crazy. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's interesting. So, I mean, you guys can see what I'm talking about. These tables, they open a lot of doors, right? Open a lot. I think it's one of the coolest things that they have in the game from Xanathar is when you have stuff like this. So let's see childhood memories. Okay, childhood memories. That looks average. So you probably okay. I think we've rolled that result before. So you had a few close friends and lived an ordinary childhood. Okay, all right. So that's Varric. Cool. Yeah, gang. So that was really interesting, right? You see what is cool about the tables in Xanathar's, and I think it works because one, families are weird. Do you know what I mean? The whole family dynamic thing tends to be, families kind of be are strange animals, right? So you can even make even if you roll really weird on those tables, it could probably work somehow. You know what I mean? Just because of just the nature of families. But thanks for watching. Please like the video. Um, I am a DM over Start Playing. These are my games. So we need one person for our Tomb of Annihilation game. They just killed a red dragon and they're looking for their lair. Uh, we need 3 for Rime of the Frostbite, and they just acquired the Shield Guardian there. And out of the Bisc group is full. Thanks for watching. Take care.